For the past month, Russia's murderous invasion of Ukraine has transfixed the world, leaving few members of the international community unmoved. Yet in Nigeria, brutal violence against similar innocents has not only continued for decades, but has dramatically increased in the past few months. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo had formally declared Nigeria a, quote, country of particular concern in December of 2020. But the Biden administration removed Nigeria from that important and useful designation. Ever since, the violence has increased while international news coverage has nearly vanished. Here to discuss this concerning situation is Lela Gilbert, Senior Fellow for International Religious Freedom here at FRC. Lela, good to see you today.
Nice to see you, Joseph.
Well, so much pain in the world, so many bad things happening that we can be giving our attention to, and appropriately, the world has been concerned about what's happening in Ukraine. But tell us, what is happening in Nigeria right now as well?
The situation in Nigeria has been terrible for years, really decades. But most recently, although we've been very aware of the attacks by the group Boko Haram, which is now actually affiliated in some places with ISIS, there's been another group that has been active for quite a while. But since recent weeks have passed, it's become more active in the middle belt of Nigeria, which is south of the area in the north that we usually hear about. The middle belt has been attacked by Fulani radicals. And these are tribesmen of a Fulani tribe, which is a huge African tribe. They're not all part of this, but they are radicalized in Nigeria and other places. And they've been attacking in larger and larger numbers Christian groups, churches, villages. They've been going in and massacring groups of people. As many as 45 people had died last week. And so we've been trying to refocus a little bit on that ongoing tragedy, even as the situation in Ukraine unfolds every day.
Lela, we think we have some sense of what is motivating Vladimir Putin. He makes statements, at least there's a lot of speculation about that. What is motivating the attacks in Nigeria by the Fulani herdsmen?
Well, the same thing that motivates radical Islamist groups worldwide, which is killing Christians and those who oppose their radical agenda. We've seen that with ISIS in Iraq. We've seen it all over. But in this case, there's another element, and that is the government of Nigeria itself is operated almost entirely by Fulani tribesmen. We have the reason to think that there is influence where they're not keeping track of what's going on or speaking out against it, and maybe even assisting a little bit in this. So it's radical Islam, but it's also a tribal ethnic issue, and it's also governmentally at least overlooked.
So this is a situation where those who should be in a position of stopping it are either complicit or in agreement?
At least they're turning a blind eye. And it looks like worse than that, but we're sitting here, we're not in a position to judge it, but it is interesting that the document that Mike Pompeo, former Secretary of State, the designation he made that this was a country of particular concern, didn't even last a year before the present administration they undesignated it, and we don't know why. And it may have been a conversation with the government there. It may have been some kind of a quiet agreement, and we really don't know. But what we do know is that there couldn't be a country of greater concern than Nigeria on the long history of what's happened there.
Lela, what is the significance of that change in designation from no longer designating them a country of particular concern?
Well, it has to do with responses we can make. As I understand it, we can sanction that country and even its leadership, specifically its leadership. In fact, the declarations that can be made would be very helpful in this case. But it removes some of those opportunities, and it also unfocuses the world on the ongoing trouble there.
Lela, we've seen how the world and the United States have come together to to create sanctions against Russia, why are those same steps not being taken against those committing atrocities in Nigeria?
I don't know. And I don't know of any people that really understand what happened except people at the top. What we wonder about is whether there are political games being played. Also, it's a very largely successful commercial country. It's the largest financial center in Africa. So there's money involved, there's politics involved, and there's compromise involved. Often the Fulani attacks are explained as ethnic, but not only as ethnic, but as being based on climate change and a lack of resources. And generally, people that are protesting climate change don't scream Allahu Akbar when they kill people in their churches. We don't really believe this is the reason, but our political people sometimes would rather compromise and say, well, it's just a cultural problem. And they're hurting for resources, and so we have to be understanding. That's the best I can do to explain it.
Lela Gilbert, it is concerning, but we're glad to know so that we can pray, and we do hope that the world will come together to oppose these human rights abuses as well. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.